Hi, Jasmine. How are you?
I am so wonderful. It's such an honor to be joining you live from the wild and wet and wild coast of Ireland in this morning. I think you're an hour ahead, Judy, in
Yeah,
Germany.
yeah. First of all, I would like to greet our guest. Welcome everyone to our interview today with Yasmin Srinika Soriachi. Did I say your name right?
No, so I'll just say it again. It's no problem. So I'm Jasmine Srinika crystal singer, and yeah, I help creative visionaries overcome procrastination and perfectionism so they can create the lucrative and yeah, lucrative laptop lifestyle of their dreams, take their business anywhere in the world.
Okay, that sounds amazing. How about you telling us a little bit about your background? Like, well, first of all, today we just want to get to know you and know a little bit more about your business and what you are, offering to people in the world. What is your mission? And first of all, I'd like to find out what what's your background? What have you? I think I saw a whole bunch of stuff in your profile in Facebook about being a television producer and a theater producer of shows, and tell us all about what. Tell them where did it all start?
Yeah, okay. So actually, I'm not a producer, but I am a director of Baroque opera and theater. And my background is in acting and directing. But I actually started out in a very different way. I was an academic in Holland, actually, went to Holland and was working in eye tracking experiments. I graduated cum laude in psycholinguistics. And I actually thought the rest of my life and my career would be programming eye tracking experiments and experiments
What
in the
is that?
basement.
What is eye
So
tracking?
yeah, so psycholinguistics is really all about how we are processing language in the brain. How do we actually read? So an eye tracking experiment is looking at how are we actually reading? And from the experiments, we learned that you don't read word for word, but that your brain is actually jumping around in the sentence. So it's not purely linear as we were thought to believe before. And it's also part of larger pattern recognition. But in any case, I think that that early training as a scientist was important because I'm someone who's very, very curious. I now work as a mentor, helping creative visionaries, people who are heart-based entrepreneurs, actually access their intuition. And I think it's really important to highlight that I came so far from that arena. I was a scientist, really, if I could disprove something, which is our scientific method, then it existed. And there was a huge just a huge process of deconditioning that had to happen in order for me to connect with my intuition and my guides as well as my creativity. So actually, if I condense everything from you, I went from actually leaving the possibility of doing a really wonderful PhD in psycholinguistics. And I followed my heart. I followed my intuition. I followed my soul. I knew I was here to reach millions of people, that I wasn't meant to stay trapped in a basement doing experiments. And I went to the Amsterdam School of Theater and Cabaret, where I was for a year, and we learned singing and acting and dancing as
Oh,
well. And then I moved on and I trained in the summer at RADA in London to direct and act Shakespeare. And then I started my own company. So I really did a kind of
oh.
180-degree turnaround from science, moving into the arts, artistic expression. And that's where I've learned all of my skills to help my clients be confident on stage. I really help them
Exactly.
discover their soul's voice. So that's that place where they're speaking their truth and they're in what I call their register of resonance. So it's not just chest voice or head voice, it's a full body expression of what they are here to share as part of their soul purpose mission. But I wouldn't have been able to do any of that had I not done maybe that decade of artistic work.
Hmm.
And then my mother became ill right when I was doing planning a production in Sri Lanka, a site-specific production of Twelfth Night in the historical Dutch harbor there. And so I went over to take care of my mother, and that started me off on a very intense and long journey in the healing arts, vibrational medicine, and the metaphysical arts. And as the CEO of Success Siren, I really bring all of those different skill sets together to help creative visionaries. I call them divine feminine divas, and people who are really here to create a big impact. They're here to teach one to many. They may be authors, they may be speakers, they may be online business people, they may be holistic healers who are looking to leverage their time and increase their income and impact while working less and while being location independent.
Hmm.
And all of that really stems from number one, knowing how to align with your inner voice, your intuition, and then also knowing how to act with certainty and confidence without even seeing kind of the proof of the results. A lot of times in our language, we even say, I'll see it when I believe it. But
Yeah,
we know in terms of our energetic universe that it's when we believe it that we
that it
see
will
it.
happen. Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. Our words create our reality.
they absolutely do.
Our words create our feelings, and our feelings
Mhm.
create that what we live and what we exist in this world. Do you come from Sri Lanka?
No, no, I don't. I was born outside of Chicago.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, you were born in United States, but you've got some kind of background there of Asian or something.
Oh yeah, so my dad is from Sri Lanka and my mother is Scottish.
Oh my gosh, what a beautiful mixture. Isn't that amazing?
They really had to come halfway across the world really to meet each other. Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. And that's where your name comes from, I guess. How do you
Yeah, well,
pronounce
I actually go by Crystal Singer, so that is the name of my business and that's the name of the work that I do, and that comes through my metaphysical work, um, which has been a lot with working with crystals, working with crystal grids, really to help enhance vibration and consciousness. And so I do help my clients by using some of the woo-woo or metaphysical, more of the metaphysical tools to help them achieve their goals as well.
Okay, all right. That makes sense. But you've really come a great long way from studying what was it? I linguistics,
Oh, psycholinguistics. Yeah.
psycholinguistics, and becoming more or less the scientist, and then getting into the arts. That's an amazing journey that you've been on. Um, were you an overnight success in what you were doing? What made you go?
No, no, I think the academic part of it was very easy for me because all through my youth, academics has been really important for me. I was always someone who was at the top of my class or in the top few people. And I loved learning, and that same curiosity and playfulness that I approach science with, I approach kind of the metaphysics of life and success with as well. If it is about mindset, if it is about the actions that we're taking also to create that success, what other things may be throwing us off the path? And so procrastination and perfectionism were
Yeah,
really, really big ones for me.
this is our
Not so
topic. That's our topic
and
today.
that's our topic today. And so I want to be really transparent. It was not an overnight success situation. And in fact, I think I would have achieved more quickly, especially in the arts, if I would have had much more confidence and a sense of just put it out there and go to more auditions. But I would be endlessly rehearsing, and it would take a big kick in the behind to really get out there as an introvert and to share. So I'm really living proof. I used to be a kid who took books to birthday parties. So I was, yeah. I was like the biggest nerd you can
You
imagine.
were a
So
big nerd. Okay.
for me to go through the vulnerability and exposure that is, the performing arts world and training is really a sign that if you're an introvert, it is possible for you. It is possible for you to feel confident in expressing your soul's truth, and it is really possible for you to get very well paid for your soul's purpose. So I'm living proof of all of those things.
Wow, that's just amazing. Did you have any early mentors on your way? Who influenced you for the most part?
You know, my biggest mentors probably came in middle school. I had a French teacher who was also a ballet dancer, and I went to a very small private. It was a real, I would say, kind of the humanities were really strong at that school, at that private school. And I had an English teacher who was also a dancer and a choreographer. And so I think those two people, even though I was doing very science heavy based training, my favorite classes happened to be with this French teacher and English teacher. And I just remember being 12 or 13 in French class and, doing a drawing of the lamps in Paris. And I'm like, oh, one day I'll live in Paris. And then I remember back when I moved to Paris and I was doing directing there and actually studying at the Sorbonne, got my master's one in theater history
I
in
saw
Paris. That dream, that childhood dream came true. And that's one of those things where I was in the flow state. I was drawing as a child. I was envisioning what it would be like to really be there. And those same principles are the manifestation principles that I teach my clients to enable them to quantum leap to success, collapse time, and increase their income and impact. So it's really interesting how some of the things that we do naturally or have done naturally as children are part of I call them our superpowers.
Yeah,
And this is what we need to bring to the forefront. And then when it comes to captivating your audience with communication and creativity, it's all about that heart connection and that
yeah,
confidence in yourself and in the value of your message. So
yeah.
I really help my clients who are women of really all walks of life, but the creative visionaries with a deep desire to change the world in a big way.
Wow,
And
that's
they're tired
fantastic.
of being compromised in terms of time or money, and they're kind of in this creative chaos. They don't know how to
Yeah,
organize their gifts into an offer that the
yeah,
world needs now.
yeah.
And so I really help them get clear on that as well.
I guess they're also tired of playing small. Then we as
Yes.
women, we're sort of educated, first of all, take care of the family, take care of everyone around you, and
Mm-hmm.
you come more or less last. And so we
Yes.
women have had to learn, hey, my desires are also important. I have things that I would like to do, and up until now, or up, it's still the same thing, that you are seen as an egotist as a woman if you go after your goals and go after your dreams. Well, where's she going? What's she doing? I mean, she should be doing this or that or taking care of whatever. And it takes a lot of self-confidence and self-love to go and say, you know what? I'm tired of playing small. It's time for me to get on with my life. Don't you find that with the women that you only work with women?
I do have some male clients, but predominantly it's women. Success Siren seems to appeal to the Little Mermaid and most women that I meet as a brand. So there are a few male mermen, obviously, but
Yeah,
yeah,
but
predominantly women.
men are brought
Predom-
up to go after their goals, go after their professions. They are brought up to, I'm the king. And but we women, we really have to work on our self-worth, don't we?
Yeah, I think it's more nuanced in the sense that men may receive that programming, but a lot of the men I talk to secretly deep down inside have a lot of fears. They have a lot of fears, or am I going to be successful?
Absolutely.
I'm not going to even start because I might fail. And if my entire self-worth is hinged around my performance in all areas of my life, then that's just too much pressure. For the women I work with, it's different. It's really what you said, Judy. They felt a sense of need to conform to some kind of societal conditioning, or to put other people's needs first, as a kind of subconscious way of not looking at their own gifts and talents, out of fear that they would fail. And so therefore not even getting off of the starting blocks protects you from that fear of failure. So it's a lot of vulnerable and loving and truth telling that we really do in the mentoring process, when it's looking at what have our limiters been and how can we rewrite them. Because if you're watching this show now, you are a creative visionary. I can feel it. You are a woman who is here to make a big change. Otherwise, you wouldn't be following Judy. And you have an interest in showing up confidently and speaking your truth, because she is the queen of soul voice, Judy is. So if you're watching this, I just want you to know that it doesn't matter where you are. Start now with something small. You don't have to have it all figured out. Look at my own life. It seems to be extremely random, going from science into very obscure 17th and 18th century music and theater, and then going into the healing arts, and then
Yeah.
into the online business space, and spiritual business coaching space. But it actually, every single thing that I have done, including strange jobs as an actor, like being a living statue for parties, every single thing that I have done, to commercials that were 20 or 30K per commercial, every single thing I've done has informed what I am teaching now, because I'm here to activate other women into their highest levels of clarity and confidence, so they can really change the world with their magnetic message.
Absolutely. I think that you and I both have
Yeah.
this mission to get our message, myself as a vocal coach and even as a singer, to touch people's hearts. But right now I'm focusing more on getting my expertise that I have learned, that I have experienced and gathered over the years, to give that to other people and to change the world. That's what it's all about, isn't it? It's to give our expertise so that we can help people. And the more that we're able to give people their belief in themselves, that they start to have confidence. Now, it just gives me a perfect joy to see when people start to open with their voice and start to get their voice out there. It's more than just singing. It's a hell of a lot more than just singing. It's getting your whole soul and your personality out there. I notice by a lot of my students, they change so much. They change physically. They start to dress differently. They start to look differently. They start to speak differently, just through learning how to sing. Well, of course, I'm always encouraging people to get that feeling of, you are worth something. You are great. You are gorgeous. You are brilliant. You are talented, and you are fabulous. Right?
Yes. And it is foundational. Unless we have a safe incubator in which we are supported, we are seen, and we are heard, it is so difficult for us to face any judgment or persecution, self-criticism from ourselves or others. And both of us know, to achieve anything of significance, you got to fail fast. You have to be able to get out there and maybe not get the audition. In fact, in the performing arts, most of the time, you probably don't get the audition. But it's about believing in what you come here to share, and then shifting that mindset. So auditions go easily for me.
Right.
For my people, it might be like, oh, I'm not filling my programs. I'm not, I don't feel comfortable selling. So by helping them get really crystal clear on the value they're providing, and on the immense value that they have just as human beings, and then on the additional value of the specific skills that they bring to the table to help their clients achieve certain results, we're able to really turn that process around, so they become magnetic to soulmate clients only. They begin to ask more from life and receive more, and they keep, in a sense, resetting their frequency to higher and higher levels of well-being, happiness, and profit. So it is a continuous process.
Right.
I feel I would not have been able to do it alone. You and I have an amazing mentor in common. I've had many mentors otherwise in my life,
Right.
and yeah,
Yeah.
would not have been able to do that alone.
Um, what do you think is the biggest problem that with women or with people in general? Why do they procrastinate? What is that big thing behind procrastination? Is it
Okay,
that they don't believe in themselves? Is it that they don't believe they're able to carry out the task at hand, or what is it? What is this perfectionism all about?
great question. I'm really, really glad that you asked that. It is, in a sense, it's a self-protection. So when I work with this in clients, we will go and actually thank perfectionism and procrastination for, in a sense, keeping them safe, because we are hardwired to fight or flee. This is part of our reptilian brain, our amygdala, which sounds the alarm when something that is fear inducing
Right.
should either propel us into fighting or into fleeing. Now,
Exactly.
in our modern day society, we have so many sensory stimuli and triggers. We could be in that cause this type of anxiety. It's really a real physical reaction. We produce more cortisol, the adrenals start working overtime. So this comes when something is triggering that alarm system. For some
Yeah.
people, it's doing their taxes.
Yeah.
For other people, it's even getting on the treadmill and walking for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
For each person,
Yeah. I'm going to tell you one of
that's different.
I'm going to tell you one of mine. My biggest procrastination has been getting order in my papers, in my cupboards, especially with business. Just getting your papers organized, putting them into
Yeah.
files. And I've been very, very disorderly in my life. And I know why that is. I know why I'm like that. And I really had most of my life, I had a big problem of procrastinating because I thought, oh my God, that's too much. I felt overwhelmed with that simple task where, I let things really build up. And then
Yeah.
there was a big, we say in German, a big bag. There was a big mountain of things to do. And so you do get overwhelmed and you start to procrastinate. Now I'm doing the Pomodoro method, just putting my timer at 30 minutes and doing little bits by little bits. And now, being with our wonderful mentor, Jessica Keva Lindholm, she has taught me so much about, loving yourself, and don't get down on yourself if you don't, stop hustling, stop forcing, stop, get into the flow and just love yourself, feel that feel good atmosphere, and you will start to be aligned with that energy, and you will start to want to do things that have always been a procrastination problem for you. At least that is for me.
Yes, and that is so true. Procrastination comes from a sense of overwhelm. Overwhelm masks anxiety and it masks fear. When we get deeper, drill deeper down, is it fear of failure? Is it fear of rejection? Is it fear of taking the first step? For everybody, it's different. Even if their procrastination would show up in the same way. For the women I work with, they're very high achieving women. So they have achieved success in a certain field, but now they're venturing forth into the online space and they feel really vulnerable, as if they're like starting all over again.
Mm,
Everything that they attach their sense of self to, or their identity with maybe corporate jobs or their former professions, they're just they feel like they have to reinvent the wheel in a way when they come to the online space. And I really assure them that what they have already achieved is the foundation of their success already. It's already part of what makes them an expert. So I really help them value what comes to them naturally and put that forward. And that may be something very, very different to what they were earning money in their business before. For example, I work with a lot of people whose intuitive, creative, and spiritual gifts are ready to be seen, witnessed, and yeah, and actually really well paid for in the world. So it is helping them gain confidence in these new areas in which they're stepping up and sharing and supporting humanity. And their perfectionism comes because they've spent 10 years or 12 years or 20 years becoming an expert in another field. And
Yeah.
they're coming to the online business space and it's like, oh my gosh, I have tech overwhelm. I have this, I have that,
Yeah.
you know?
Have
And
you
so
noticed, have you noticed also, since I've become an entrepreneur, which is about 2.5 years, I was so forced from the outside. Like if I had a date for a concert, a gig, a vocal workshop, that goes into my calendar. But when you start to be an entrepreneur, you have to, you're responsible only to yourself and to making your own time plan and to get your own day organized. Where my day was before was it was sort of, how do you say that in English? It was forced from the outside. Like, you got to go there on that day at that time. But these dates were made from other people. And when people, like, when you have to start doing it yourself, I found that really, really a challenge. I can imagine that is also for the women that you are working with, if they've been working in corporate, in the corporate world, where they have to be there from 9 to 5, and there are certain tasks that they have to be carried out through a boss who tells them what to do. We're so used to people telling us what to do and carrying that out, but when we start to have to do things for ourselves and organize our own lives and organize our own business, don't you think that is a big challenge for a lot of people?
it depends on the person. Some of my clients are really good at organization, but they're really scared about getting on a live and selling, for example. And so what I really help them do is stand in their strengths and decide what they need to delegate. And then we also really go into that deep pleasure feeling. What is your passion? What do you
Yeah,
really want to do? Even if you have no feedback yet that is going to be successful, this is what lights you up. This is the thing that you could do for hours on end. I can get on a live and teach and activate and support for hours on end. Things that
yeah,
are technical things that I train my clients in, less so. Those are things I've created courses around to help people know how to get started. But mostly my work has really evolved now in terms of, in my membership structure, to supporting that process of losing faith, gaining confidence, gaining skills, getting the support to create that soul aligned marketing from the heart that really, as if by magic, attracts the right people into your programs and fills your programs. And if you have procrastination or perfectionism, you're not even going to get to that part of even clarifying your offer, or even launching your offer, or you may be offering something you think you should offer to earn money and not what you truly and
exactly,
deeply desire to do. Some people have come to
exactly.
me for their business, for example, Judy, and actually what they wanted to do was start a family, and just working together, they met the right person and off they went.
Yeah.
Other people have come to the business, but then decided what they really wanted to do was to be an artist full time and to, get their work shown. And
Mhm.
so we actually worked on that.
Yeah,
It's so important
it's
to
so
find that clarity of what you deeply
absolutely,
desire to do for you, not for anybody
absolutely.
else.
What is your passion?
Yes.
Because we're all of us. I mean, I am a very passionate singer, but I was always, it was all such a stress for me to get gigs and, to call. And in the jazz area, it's not easy. Well, that would be a negative affirmation. But let's say for me, it wasn't. It wasn't. It's, well, I think it is for most musicians. It's a challenge, to get a booking agent in the jazz area, because jazz musicians, we're most of, I would say, 100% of us, we're people who follow their passion, who have followed their passion, and have always, business was not really on our radar, and earning money also not. So it's it's something that once you find out your passion, is the next thing is to find out how you can earn money with it. And I have found right at the moment, I'm just focusing on my online business to help people learn how to use their voice. And I've sort of put my performing a little bit on the back burner for now, because anything that causes me stress or causes me hustle or causes me, that I go, my brain starts acting up. I want to be in the flow. I want to be in that feel good atmosphere. And I know that when I'm doing something right now, I'm so excited about everything I'm doing. And I thought, well, you can't do that. You're a singer. You should be performing. You should be, getting on that phone. You should be doing should, instead of what do you really, really want? And I think right now at this moment, and I think our missions in general, we have one mission, but our how do you say this? Our focus can change from one time to another. Right now, my focus is right now on my teaching business, and I'm sure, I know there's going to come a time when the right time, the right place, everything's always working out for me, that I will find the right entrance to performing again. Let's say I'm always performing, but I'm not performing at the level that I have had been doing in the last 25 years. I was always pushing and struggling and hustling and putting myself under pressure. And I think that's one thing also, that we women who procrastinate and perfectionism, we think we have to be perfect. We have to, you've got to get out there, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. You don't have to do anything, right?
Exactly. It's so much part of an ego fear. That sounds not compassionate, but it really is. The ego's trying to protect us. It's saying, well, can you really do this? Or the, limiting beliefs of our subconscious are protecting us from maybe things that happened badly to us. I remember being ridiculed at an audition, maybe more than one actually starting out. So those things get internalized. However, when we're able to look at perfectionism for what it is, we're able to bless it for its maybe misguided, but intention of protecting us, wanting to be the best is wonderful.
Yeah.
But then we need to switch it into, how can I be of service today? How can I be of service in this moment? Then we look at all of the beliefs behind service. For a lot of women, service means martyrdom. So what does it really mean to live a life on your terms, with freedom of time, freedom of money, doing only what you love, delegating the rest? It is not a dream. It's my reality. It's the reality of many people. But it does take a lot of courage, and it does take mentorship to be held in your highest frequency, no matter what the ups and downs are of your life. And it takes, most importantly, Judy, the decision. We never need to know the how. It's focusing on the how that slows us down so much.
Beautiful.
It's really focusing on the heart.
Yes.
What is our heart calling for us to create, to do, and
that
to share?
Is so hard for people to fathom. What do you mean, how is not important? Well, I have to think about, excuse me, is that possible? Or is that not possible? I can't do that. This and that, whatever, they're always thinking on the how, myself included sometimes, But if you continue to follow your heart and follow your passion and follow that what makes you really feel good, then other doors open and other things happen, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm blessed to have invested more than probably $70,000 in incredible mentors. And that's a lot of investment. That's a lot of investment. And that investment has really paid itself off, I'd say, phenomenally well. And those investments were in people who had created their businesses from nothing, and who really shared their deepest mindset practices for success, the technique and strategies that worked for them. So what I am so honored to be able to do is, with any client who works with me in my mentorship, is to help them through connecting with their higher self source and using their own intuitive abilities, as well as their angelic squad or their squad of guides around them, help them determine, one, what their soul passion is, get really clear on the value that they're providing, the transformation, get really clear on why they're excited to create this offer or share this offer. And
Mhm.
then I help them channel their own soul aligned marketing, which is very different from what may work for me in my business or for someone else.
Mhm.
But having invested in these different mentors, men, women, all different areas of expertise, has really allowed me to be able to suggest things. And then, a client will say, oh, no, that doesn't feel right. But, oh, I saw this and this really, really feels good. And okay, let's support you in creating that result. I think one of the important things is being 100% responsible for our results. A lot of times procrastination and perfectionism come from a deeper feeling of guilt or shame, like we didn't attend to this area of life, or we're not good with money, or we want to be more creative, we don't want to be in the business part of it. What we focus on expands. So actually, when we do what you said, just a
Exactly.
little bite-sized bit a day, which is part of the Kaizen technique of change, which is small increments of change, don't activate that amygdala. So we don't have that flight or fright response, and we don't have that huge procrastination pushback. So if we're able just to examine, or just shift, or just change, or just do a new small action in an area a day, we create a compound cumulative effect. And what I find is, even though it might not become our best thing in the world to do, when we enlist help or we delegate that, then we're free to focus on what we love to do. But we're no longer putting our head under the sand. We're able to
Yeah.
hire experts or friends or family. Honestly, if you're just starting out, you have no idea within the circle of people you already know, in exchange
Mhm.
for a trade or even maybe a service or something, you can get help. So many of the
Yeah.
women who work with me are mothers, and they're
Mhm.
spending all of this time as they're building their business also having to do things for the kids. Well, it changes their world when they hire someone to clean their house, maybe once,
Exactly.
even if it's only once a month, or they hire someone to come in and or help them organize or declutter their home or feng shui their home, or if they have a carpool system that gets set up. Or another
Great.
one of my clients had a brilliant idea of having housework in the house done by a team of two people. So then she didn't have to be the police person. If you didn't show up for your teammate, then, well, it was between the two of you. So
Mhm.
it's amazing when you put yourself and your work first, and you realize that it's not selfish, that
Yeah.
when you thrive, everybody in your family and your community also thrives, because you're in training people to that frequency. If they're not at the frequency, they will probably end up leaving. And as you continue to, and that's not meant in any bad way, but you will find the people who are here to grow with you are excited for you. They're happy for your success. They want you
Absolutely.
to be on this journey. And when we
Yeah.
choose to surround ourselves
Exactly.
and that's why I've created my membership levels,
Mhm.
because there is nothing like community. That's how we found each other, right?
That's
We're in a
right. That's
community.
right.
We're
Yeah.
in a community of support. We're not here
Mhm.
alone, behind our
Right.
computers
We don't
struggling.
do this alone.
We don't do it alone. It
First of all,
takes a sisterhood to build success. I always say that's why I created my free sisterhood.
we are never alone in this whole process, because
Yep.
we are. This is what I learned from Jessica Caver Lindholm. We're always supported by the universe. We're always supported by the angels, or the whatever you want to call it, God or the Great Spirit. We're not in this world alone. And then, secondly, if you have a community around you who is supporting you, where you feel that you're able to exchange ideas and get inspired from others, and that you're also able to inspire. I wanted to ask you, don't you think it takes something must happen in the lives of people to help them to change their mindset? Because I know so many women, when I have three children, and when I was, a young mother, and I was always wanting to, learn new things and do new things, and they were all focused on their bloody housework, and, just their kids, and just, instead of, and they used to look at me and they used to say, I don't need to do that, and I'm thinking, all right. And I went off to study when my little boy was 4 years old. And they thought, no, that, we say that in German, it's a Rabenmutter. This is a mother who is neglecting her children. So sometimes women can also stop you. The women who are continuing in their normal way of thinking, and thinking, you know, this is what we have to do. We have to take care of our families. We have to take care of our kids. And if we're getting out there and taking care of us and, you know, starting studies or working or having a full-time job, you get the flax from these women. And I think that may be changing, like this was, you know, a few years ago. But I find that we women, we also have to really work together. Now, of course, women like you and I, we are on a mission. We are on a path. We have already, you know, we've made that decision. We're on our way of creating the ideal life for ourselves. And this is what we want to help other women to do. And I think that this is a thing that women feel almost like as if they would have a bad conscience if they were to start to take, you know, take their own life in their hands, you know, like, well, what does my husband think about that? Well, what do you think about that?
Yeah, it really is. And what I wanted to say about that is everybody has a different destiny. For some people, their soul blueprint is to create an incredible home and is to be there all the time for their children. In fact, I have a client who that has been her focus, and she's taking all of that knowledge to create courses to help other people who are short on time, moms who are working full time or doing
Yeah.
something else, be able to get incredible results in their families and with their children with limited time. So for everybody, it's different what our mission is. But the most important thing is, if you are a woman who wants it all, if you're a woman who has made the decision to have it all, align with other people who are asking for that thing. We're asking for more in the same way you're asking for more. So I've always aligned with people who have been creating location independent businesses because I loved travel and I was able to do my business like a year ago all across Europe, you know, just from my laptop because I had built my business that way. Had I followed another mentor who had also hired great mentor, then I would be doing all of these speaking gigs. But that just wasn't aligned for me. So that's why it comes down to being very clear on your personal desires and then accepting full responsibility, knowing that you're not doing this alone. What you said at the beginning just moves my heart so deeply because it was when my mother became ill, I think back in 2013, that everything changed for me. I
Mm-hmm.
really, really went deep into, you know, I'm here to do more than what I'm doing now. I'm here to help people. I'm a healer. I have all these healing gifts. And because I've gone through that whole journey, um, I realized that you keep choosing again. And you keep choosing again every day. I rebranded my business. It became Success Siren. And Success Siren is going to expand into different areas to support my clients' self-care as well. So every single day, every single moment, we have that choice. Are we moving from fear or for love? Fear that we have to
Exactly.
create a result, or love because we are here to stand in this vibration and share whatever is coming through. I have clients who never do lives. They love to do blog posts. I love doing live streams because I get to show up as me. I get to channel the truth that has been given to come through me to activate the people I'm here to reach. And I'm able to reach more people with one communication, and I get very, very well paid for what I do. So really creating a life on your terms is what I'm here to help other people do. And you
Great.
know, I've had huge up and downs in my income, and every single time I decided to rebrand
Yeah.
or rebuild, it has not been like, oh, it was,
I
you
want
know,
to,
it was
yeah.
all easy. Definitely not, but
I
it takes
wanted to
that
ask you
courage.
that. What kind of difficulties did you have on your way? I'm sure that everything
Oh,
just,
yeah. So, first of all, being in a different culture and being like the only person who is maybe not Dutch at the acting and singing academy, very, very difficult to convey different feelings in another language.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a linguist, so I speak other languages very well, but anybody who knows anything about performance is we have to touch people's hearts. So to get into the heart feeling of that language and to get into the images that are coming through that specific language, that was a difficulty. Then because they were, typecasting, I would only get certain roles because I was the foreign person. And so I feel like my life has been a series of breaking out of all stereotypes possible in terms of the creative person or the scientific person or the metaphysical person. I really have forged my own identity. I've created my own dream life and business on my terms. And I'm really an independent free thinker in that sense. So I've always had that courage. But it's been difficult. My family has not talked to me for periods of years at certain times as well. Not backing certain decisions that I made. I've lost friends along the way. I've
Yeah.
relationships have broken down, and I'm with a wonderful, wonderful twin flame partner now. So that was all part of a learning experience. But there are a lot of things that leave your life when you make that decision sometimes to honor yourself. Hopefully not, but it can happen. And that's why, for me, the great goal that I share is that you always have your cosmic support squad. I
Yeah.
always have my angels. I always have source helping me.
Yeah.
And I have a huge network of people who love what I do and who, refer, and who I speak to, like you, for incredible support and inspiration as well. So we are responsible for finding the communities just by putting out the intention. We do not
Yeah.
have to know the how. Like I don't know if I shared this with you, but it was after one of our calls with our mentor, and I had just channeled what it is that I needed, and then literally 5 minutes later, two people from different corners of the world. This was not public. This was a private intention for me to grow my business and start to build a team. Two people reached out to me, the perfect people. So this is
Wow.
what the power of intention is. It
Yeah.
was by me releasing the how of am I going to create this outcome, and just continuing on focusing on sharing my message,
Mm-hmm.
believing more deeply in my value, asking my clients, what transformations are you getting, seeing them, really go from hiding in the wings to stepping out center stage and shining, helping them with their photo shoots, helping with their heart-based copies who can really express the value of their programs. And I just feel like a really proud Jaguar mama when I see my clients,
Yeah, exactly.
like what you
Exactly.
said, dressing differently, speaking differently, showing
Yeah.
up with confidence,
Yeah.
getting clients. I
I
love
mean,
helping my clients raise
this
their
this is
fees, their prices.
this is the greatest joy
Yep.
that a teacher, and we are teachers,
Yep.
you're teaching people how to believe in themselves. You are teaching people how to create their businesses on a soul-based mission. And I think I have a question for you, though. You went to study theater and singing, and I don't know if you did dancing. Did you never ever want to follow uh, that way of becoming a professional musician or a professional singer, or
Oh yeah, so the singing was more in different performances. So I did sing in some performances, but I am majoritarily an actor. So I did certain
well, a
films,
professional
commercials.
actor,
Yeah,
like
and
you
I
gave that
did
up.
act professionally. I did act professionally within my own companies
And that is what I
primarily.
want to know. You were
Mm,
a professional actor and you
yeah.
gave it up. How was that for your ego? Like sometimes when I think to myself, you know what? Right now, I feel that my joy, my inspiration, my passion is more in getting my vocal workshop out there and helping people
Hmm.
learn how to sing. And I'm sort of thinking, well, do you really want to? I would think you can't stop singing. Yeah, like you can't. You got to reach that place. I'm a professional perfectionist who wants to reach world famousness. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That for you when you gave up more or less your goal, as or did you ever have a goal of
Well,
becoming a
I was very
professional actor?
I was a professional actor and paid for my own companies and my own opera companies.
Yeah. But
So
why did you give it
so
up?
for so well, my mother got ill. It wasn't possible to care for her with that. So
Okay.
when she got ill, I started to learn and train in the healing arts and vibrational medicine. And that opened me up to different levels of consciousness, different levels of reality. And part of my mission, which had always been healing and planetary healing, came through at that time. And the interesting thing when you say, like, well, how does it feel to have given up acting? I've never felt that I gave it up in any sense because
But
I've
you're not
always
earning
been
your money with it, right?
well,
Like if you're,
I'm earning great money with my own business,
I know,
which for
I
me,
understand. But
which for me, yeah.
I'm
So for
talking
me,
about being an actor on
yeah,
TV, on
yeah.
film, or
But see, that doesn't really interest me because all of my passion has always been be able to create what I desire easily and effortlessly, which is exactly what my business affords me to do. I create videos on location, I create videos of me, I do all of my directing, storytelling within my own brand
I
and
get
within
it.
my own
I get
business.
it.
And
Yeah.
so that is now going to expand to being motivational videos, motivational films, all of my artistry in performing, directing, filming, acting, and videography gets combined in that now
Yeah.
for global experiences.
I understand.
So
I
so yeah,
understand. What I'm
so
trying to
being
get
yeah.
at, I want to get at certain thing.
Mhm.
Um, Artists who want to become famous, like
Mhm.
as a famous actor,
Yeah.
you've sort of in your mind. So I mean, this is the way as an outsider I'm looking at it. You've sort of given up that goal of becoming a famous actor or a famous singer. I guess you weren't really more into the singing, but you were into the acting.
No, yeah.
So you've integrated it into your business now. But
Mm.
was it ever for you a goal to become a famous actor, to be on stage, to be in theaters? I mean, you were for a certain amount of time, but you're not doing
Yeah,
that
so
now. So
yeah, so I have done all of those things.
I
And
know.
what I can say for me is my life now, with my ability to create income on demand, to go anywhere in the world and channel and broadcast this out to people without having to spend I remember I'd have to spend a year and a half to get budgets together to do my projects. And that's just the way it is. Even if you're earning millions of dollars as a Hollywood actor, you're going to have to go through an entire system to approve your film, to distribute your film. You wait hours on set. I'm somebody who loves to create instantly and be able to get the message out instantly, which I think is the rise of, we have
Okay.
internet
Right.
influencers, we have YouTube stars. So I'm very, very independent. And that's what I learned, that I
Yeah.
am able to reach, like some people have 9 million people on their YouTube, which is more than somebody appearing as an actor, even on a prime time network, would ever have that kind of viewership. So I believe in having the message, connecting it, getting out there, and using your independent means to actually become a beacon of inspiration for millions. And
Yeah.
I have a lot of colleagues who are doing that. In fact, colleagues who are, very well known performers who have their own businesses. I even look at someone like Gwyneth Paltrow. She has her own business. She still acts, of course, from time to time. She's won her Oscar, very young in the game,
Mm.
but she loves the ability to create so much impact on a larger scale. Whether you like her or not doesn't matter.
Oh, I do. I do. I love.
I'm not a certain fan one way or the other. All I'm trying to say is there is incredible power of owning the means of communication and owning the means.
Mm.
When you have your own business, there's no cap to what you can earn. I know people have
Okay.
sold businesses for multiple,
Yeah.
hundreds of millions of dollars. So
So
that's
it
not the
was sort of
question.
a thing for you then, more or less. You could earn better. It was easier.
Mm,
you didn't have to go through the process of getting films done.
It
Like
was,
when I think
yeah,
of myself, um, for me, it's always been my goal to be a famous jazz singer, to be on
yeah,
all the magazines, to get millions of CDs. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And I'm thinking, I know another coach who was an actor, and I also asked her this question: how
Mm,
was it for you to sort of, get your main focus away from
mm,
acting and becoming a famous actress into, or she's into the coaching business? How did
mm,
that feel for you
mm,
to change that focus of, I want to, be in that film, and I want to be in this film, or I want to be on that stage doing a play or whatever. It's a different thing, of course, of going into coaching, right? Oh,
yes.
she's very, very successful, and
Mm-hmm.
she's also doing her own show on her in her business. She does her
Mm-hmm.
own, I guess, video show. It's, she calls it a show. So she, of course, she's using her acting abilities, but she's not a famous actress. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
wondering, I know for a lot of singers, I even know one singer who was in New York, and she wasn't getting the gigs that she was hoping to get. She went up to the 14th floor in New York, and that was, she jumped because she didn't, it was an ego thing. She thought she was
Mm.
no longer important. Now, how do you deal with that? Like, how do you deal with artists who think, well, if I don't get famous, if I don't reach that level of being successful as an artist,
Mm-hmm.
right? Not taking it over into my business, but just being
Mm-hmm.
successful as an artist, and they feel depressed because they're not working up into that level. How do you what do you tell these artists? Because there's all kinds
Well,
of artists that
I
want to get
I
further.
think it's always about your intention. For my intention has always been massive impact. It has never been fame. So even in what I went into doing, there are not many people who are working in 17th and 18th century theater. It's a very, very small niche. And very few people would know the people successful in that niche. And it's definitely not something like, blockbuster movies. So I've always followed my passions. The same thing with university. I studied medieval architecture and I studied medieval languages.
Wow.
That's a very, very, niche thing to study. I have always followed my passion, and in any discipline I achieved success. What I realized was I am the vessel for creator. If creator wants me to get on stage, I'm here. I act and direct Shakespeare, no problem. But creator
Mm-hmm.
has shown me that to bring all of my gifts to the table, which also all of the directing gifts come to the table. I have so much joy also supporting other people's success. So instead of
Mm-hmm.
it being all about me, it gets
Mm-hmm.
to be about the audience. It gets to be
Okay.
about the community. It gets to be about our planet. So that was for me personally. Now,
Okay.
when I have clients who come to me and they say, I haven't reached success in X, Y, and Z,
Or
there's
they
a
have to
reason
give
for
up
it.
their dream, right? They feel that
Yeah.
they have to
So,
give up their
so, so,
dream.
so that's also a choice. If I work with them, what happens is a lot of the time it will come out that was never their dream. Their mother wanted them to be famous,
Yeah.
or they had a girlfriend who wanted them to be famous. The people I know who want success in that field and who are successful have wanted it and put the actions towards creating it. The people who are not seeing those results are also not investing in doing the mindset work or the alignment to either make that happen or be open to what their real soul purpose mission here is. And that's okay, because many people stay in fields that they're now supposed to be transitioning out of. So the most important work that I do compassionately is this your goal? Is it really your goal? Why is it
Hmm.
your goal? What have you done towards this goal?
Yeah. And trying to
Um,
find out, you
yeah,
really dig deep. Is
really dig
this
deep.
just a thing that you need your ego built up because you have
Exactly. Or
spirit?
is it because you must be in Carnegie Hall, because you must reach that audience now? And the amazing thing about life is there can be things like, for me, I was like, I had worked my life to create what I created, and then my mother gets sick, and then I just totally followed the healing arts path. And then I thought about that. I thought, wow, did I feel a deep sense of loss? I
Yeah.
was like,
That's what I want to
yeah, I was like, you know what? I just felt a sense of the universe is always working out for me. And the universe, thank goodness, has brought me onto this path, because I'm able to use, like, in performing, I probably used 100% of my bandwidth, but I really feel I'm able to impact so many people now, more people, because what I was working in, maybe you have 600 or 800 people in the theater in an evening. Now, I mean, film is very different. And now with internet, I mean, you have YouTube stars with 10 million people subscribing. So you create your audience. Your audience goes
Mm-hmm.
wherever you go. You can share your truth, go live, connect with them, do premieres on YouTube
Yeah.
where you're interacting live with your audience, do watch
Yeah.
parties on Facebook where you're connecting with people all over the world. So for me, that kind of synergy and being
Mm-hmm.
able to do that
Yeah.
spontaneously without having to get planning permission, budgetary permission, renting out
Mm-hmm.
rehearsal halls, it's just part of what I'm here to do. My entire sole purpose work is to help support the architects of ascension, the people who are creating our new world, whether they're artists,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, coaches, healers, whatever they're here to do. That is deeply my sole purpose. So I'm an artist. I'm always writing poetry. I'm a writer. So acting and singing or dancing, I was also, choreographer and dancer. Those are just ways in which I expressed myself. And I'm always doing that. And when I feel like I need to create something for an audience in a theater, well, that will come to me, or a different
Mm-hmm.
film will come to me. But at the moment, I love being an independent creator and, a mentor. And my membership now, it's just going to grow and grow and grow. And I'll be able to help hundreds, thousands, millions of people across the world. So excited to
Yeah.
have this container of space in which to create change on our planet.
Yeah.
So yeah, so for me, I didn't feel it as a loss. I just felt as
I think I
with
would.
any adventure,
Yeah, I
an
think I
adventure.
would.
Yeah,
I think I've had this goal in my mind since I was a
yeah,
child,
yeah.
to sing in the best jazz venues of the world. That would be success for me.
Yeah.
Sing in Carnegie Hall, to be performing in all of the great places in Las Vegas and doing the big shows and getting the recognition from the world for me as a jazz singer.
Mm-hmm.
It has always been my goal, and to be able to do vocal workshops on a really, top level, where you are in, you're in Paris and you're invited to really top notch vocal workshops.
Mm-hmm.
That hasn't happened up until now. I mean, I do, of course, but I'm not on that top notch where I have always wanted to be. And I do feel sometimes I have failed. And I think a lot of artists feel that. That's why I asked you this question.
Yeah,
You have
I personally
failed.
have not had this. Yeah, I personally have never had that feeling, but I can understand that people would feel attached to that, and then that's okay. So my question would be, what you feel has prevented you from reaching this goal?
Yeah, I think
B,
sometimes it's just not
yeah,
wasn't supposed to be, because
right,
some people just get to know, like Diana Krall. She got to know the right people at the right time in the right place, and she didn't even want to become a singer. She
yeah,
was a pianist, right?
yeah,
And she just sort of, how it very often happens when you are in the flow,
flow,
and
yeah,
things come, and I've been pushing and pressing, and I've got to make this work, and I've got to reach this amount
mm-hmm.
of being well known, and so on and so forth. So I've been, and right now, for over a year, I just don't feel I want to do that anymore. And I'm thinking, hello, what's wrong with you? And I think there are a lot of artists think that way too.
Mm-hmm.
They get to a certain level. They've been, their whole life is focused on becoming an either an actress or a singer, or something like that in the arts, and it's not happening like the way. I mean, I've accomplished quite a bit in my life, of course. I've performed with Dizzy Gillespie and with all these wonderful world-class musicians, but it's in your mind. And I'm starting to hear what you are saying, and I think that it's about time that and I'm sure that a lot of people listening here will think it's time for a change. It's time to open to new ways and new perspectives. And it doesn't always have to be exactly the way you have it in front of your eyeballs, because yeah, maybe that's not.
I could be sitting on a flight talking to someone who is a jazz booker and being like, hey, I have this friend Judy. She's awesome. Here's her YouTube video. Someone could discover you on YouTube. What I mean to say is, when you align with flow state and you align in terms of the feelings that you have when you are singing on that world stage, okay? You align on the feelings of you that you have when the audience is applauding, when the critics are writing these glowing reviews. It's that energy which is allowing the universe to say, I'm going to give you this or something better. So if it is Carnegie Hall, you've got Carnegie Hall. And if it's something better, it is something that you're doing that gives you even more of those feelings that you would be feeling while in the successful flow state.
Yeah.
So it's always about going back to those feelings. All of these things about getting gigs and finding gigs, you could just meet someone who's like, I want to introduce you to so and so and so and so. So that is not even important. It doesn't mean you're not doing your due diligence. Like, I want to sing, and so I really am excited to attract into my sphere the people who can help make this happen. Yeah, of course you would make some phone calls or you would talk to people, but the whole process gets to be more easy. So all
Yeah.
I would say about that is to continue to focus on the feelings that you get. And you've already sung with these amazing world class people before. So focus on the feeling of that all getting to be easy. And then you will get that or
I think
something
that's,
even better or
yeah.
even better.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, is this, I always think, of course I want that, but then I start to like, oh, all that work and all that
Right.
telephoning and trying to get the gigs. And, I don't make it easy. But, I'm taking a look at the clock, and we've been online for over an hour. And
yeah, it's been a long but a good juicy interview.
yeah,
That's
it's
for
been really
sure.
wonderful. Now I want you to tell our listeners what kind of courses you have before we leave today. Where
Yeah.
can they reach you? And what kind of, where could they sign up for your course? Yeah, it sounds so amazing.
Yeah.
I'd like to
So
take part in your course.
yeah, of course. I have 3 different memberships. I am going to relaunch my entry-level membership. That's $11 a month. That's the Success Siren Society. And people get
$11 a month. Well,
Yep.
that's
People get an entire vault of my trainings. And because so many of my clients are like you and me, Judy, they're people who have really worked hard for success, who have been burnt out. Some of my clients have even had, physical debilitating diseases that they've had to overcome after the burnout. And they realize, I'm not made to function in this way. Success gets to be easier. Living in passion and happiness and self-care gets to be
beautiful.
easier. So for all of my knowledge from the healing arts and as a yoga teacher and all of that, lots of different amazing self-care recipes and confidence activators and guided meditations in that membership. Then I have the Crystal Queen Codes, which is my mid-level membership. That is my group of ladies now that is just closing. So that enrollment will be opening at the beginning of the year. And then I have my highest level way of working with clients, which is the Intuitive Icon Inner Circle. It includes a VIP retreat with me in a castle here in Ireland, and also virtual retreats. So those are the 3 ways of working with me. I take on only a few, probably 2 to 4 private clients a month, but I don't really even advertise that. And what I have available now for people who are excited to be really supported in an incubator and really get not only the kind of the tech tutorials or online business strategy, but so much more the money mindset and the I would say the vibrational attunement piece to success. So really working on repatterning subconscious beliefs and limiters. I have a free meditation called the Millionaire Merkaba meditation, which you can go to https:// www.
Okay, we're gonna put that all
Yeah,
in the
in the thing. It's successsiren.com. and then it's millionaire-merkaba-meditation, and that will all be, I'm sure, in the show
Okay.
notes.
We're going to
But
put
yeah,
all this in the show notes so that
yeah.
people can definitely get in touch with you, take a look into your first mastermind, which is really a wonderful opportunity of people just getting to know you and seeing how you work.
And it's also not overwhelming. What I've found having run this is by allowing people a vault of information that just keeps growing, they get to pick and choose what they need when they choose, when they
Yeah.
need it. They can download the meditations that are
Mhm.
applicable to them. I work a lot with natural cycles, moon cycles, so you can just work with
Mhm.
whatever works for you. And then you get a live course, a mini course each month with me, and then we have a big live training with a lot of Q&A, and I'm very, very active answering questions in that
Mhm.
community as well. So it just allows you, with a very busy lifestyle or building your business or just starting out even, or feeling very overcommitted in other areas, to start to make change. Just what we were talking about, Judy, that if we have this massive goal, right, we need to take small steps to reach it. And
Exactly.
so the membership is a
Right.
really great way.
But the very first thing is to find out, what do you really, really
Desire.
want, right? Your
Yeah.
first desire.
And that's one of my superpowers, is helping draw that out of
I
people,
can,
really helping them align with that.
I'm going to have to say, I've talked to you because we are connected through our mutual mentor. And
Yeah.
I am amazed at your ability to see things so clearly and to be able to speak exactly what I think. Geez, she's really created that. She can express herself and put it down in with a very uh, short point form. That's just marvelous quality that you have. And
Thank
I'm
you.
really, really impressed of all of this knowledge that you have. I understand all of these things have, your acting and your singing and your theater and all of this stuff has brought you to this marvelous amalgamy
Yeah.
of things that other coaches don't have, right? Like,
Well, I think it just depends. I think we resonate with different people, but you and I are, artists, or people who believe the world needs art and the true value of art
yeah,
that maybe even our current society doesn't value as much as we know that art uplifts it, truth, beauty, and goodness. Beauty is in there for a reason. Art
yeah,
is in there for a reason because it lifts us up to our highest potential, our infinite expanded state,
yeah,
right? That's what's coming through us as performers. That is what we talk about when someone has been in any community, in any society, has been struck by grace from a higher
hmm,
power, as the singer, as the dancer, as the storyteller, as the actor, right? And I do believe that this very long journey that I went on with all of the, it looked like I was going down false roads and blind
amazing
alleys,
background you have.
but it all actually informs the work I do, because I'm somebody who, I don't want other people to take as long as I did to find their definition of success,
Yeah, yeah,
and to be able to create it from a life-sustaining space of energetic overflow, right?
exactly.
Because we have so many environmental factors that actually deplete and drain our very important physical life force. So I find it my obligation, having studied the vibrational arts in a sense, to give those practices that have worked for me. Again, I'm not a doctor, big disclaimer. It's only things that have worked for me, to go from a place of only sleeping 5 hours a night and starting my opera company and studying at the Sorbonne
Yeah,
and
Wahnsinn.
teaching executives, crazy, to creating huge spaciousness and really letting my ego get out of the way, and now allowing other people, this is
Yeah,
my big challenge at the moment, to allowing other people to come in and assist me, because in order to impact more and more people, I won't be able to do it all by myself alone. But I do share all of the techniques to be able to start and run your business successfully, as the solo act, I would say, before you become
exactly. That's wonderful.
a team.
This
Yeah.
is just so wonderful. And I
So
think
that's a Millionaire Merkaba meditation. It's totally free. And what's so wonderful about it is it shifts you into your multiverse self, where you're already successful.
I'm
You're
going to get it. I'm
Yeah, you're singing on Carnegie, on Carnegie stage or wherever you are, whatever your dream is. And then that future self is going to give you important information on how you need to feel, think, and show up now to
mm,
already be living from that sense now. It's so interesting because for many years I did this thing called the Mermaid Millionaire meditation for my clients. And our mentor has a mirror millionaire
yeah, I
visualization, which I
do.
think is so funny. So it was really interesting because I had done that independently of that meditation for many years before. And I realized that we're like all around the planet, we're given very similar ideas in terms of the spiritual laws of success and the spiritual laws that work. So this Merkaba meditation is actually incorporating something called sacred geometry. And the Merkaba is just imagine it as your own little mini space-time vehicle to travel to your future self who's already experiencing the success you desire now. And as a time traveler, you get to bring back the gold, the good stuff, the
Mhm.
belief, see what you're wearing, who's around you, who are your friends, what does your day look like? What are you eating? How are you taking care of yourself? I know since we became accountability partners, Judy, like you
Yeah.
have been going to the gym. I have been clutter clearing like crazy. So doing this aspect of work, coming
We're
back from
supporting
our,
each other,
we
right?
are, yeah, but coming back from our future selves with the knowledge of what we need to shift in our mindset,
Yeah.
physical environment, and
Yeah.
our physical bodies allows us to become that high vibe, energetic expression of the success that we personally truly seek for the reasons that we have identified why we really desire the success.
Yeah.
And that is the true motivator. That is the true
Wow.
motivator.
I think that's just going to be our last words of wisdom for today.
All
Yes,
right.
it's just been such a great joy. You are so amazing. I can only really tell people join up for her courses. You won't regret it because she is
Thank
so
you.
amazing. I just happen to have the joy of being connected with her on another level through our course. And
Likewise. I
I
get all the
am
good
just
vocal stuff.
yeah, and I am absolutely, I'm just gaining each time so much like aha moments, and I'm sure that each of you, if you were to get a little closer and finding out what Jasmine is doing, you are certainly going to be amazed how you will develop in your business, start your business, or even continue your business in another mindset. I want to thank you, Jasmine. I'm really, really impressed with what you are doing. I love you, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. And we will be talking together, anyways. After after we stop, please stay on the line
For sure.
and we'll say goodbye to everybody. I hope you enjoyed this wonderful video, this interview with Serena. I have to. Could you please
Ja-
see me?
yes. Jasmine Srinika Crystal Singer.
Jasmine, Serenica,
Srinika
Crystal,
Crystal Singer.
Crystal Singer. Isn't that
Yep.
marvelous? I can say that. Okay, take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and we look forward to seeing you again with another. I'm going to be doing another interview with Wednesday Wisdom interviews every single Wednesday at 5 o'clock German European time, CEDT time. And I look forward to having you again here on our show. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.